Now, today is International Albinism Awareness Day, and South Africa joins the world in recognizing and observing this day in partnership with persons living with albinism. The 2020 theme for the day is Made to Shine. The theme is chosen to celebrate the achievements and successes of persons with albinism worldwide, while at the same time making a call to stand in solidarity with this community through their challenges. We're joined now via Zoom by the chairperson of the International Albinism Task Force, Dr. Maxwell Thabethe, to tell us about this. Dr. Thabethe, a very good morning to you. What does this day mean to your organization?
Good morning, and good morning to all listeners. This is a remarkable day. It's a very important day to us as people with albinism. This is an achievement that has been born after the adoption of democracy in 1994. So the adoption of democracy introduced us to all structures of the world and allowed us to benefit from every policy that is governing the world, like the adoption of June 13 as an International Albinism Awareness Day. It is where we were declared as having a disability, because before that, we were not identified whether disabled or not disabled. But getting identified and qualified as disabled persons, it gave us benefits of reasonable accommodation, and it gave us as a platform for support which we needed so that we can shine as we were born to shine.
Of course, we are talking about recognition, but there are other issues, horrendous societal issues, where people with albinism are targeted for sinister reasons in societies. Just take us through these and why there's a need for people to change the way they look at people who have albinism.
I think everything emanated from colorism. That we've got a different pigmentation is exposing us to dangers and unhealthy beliefs, myths, and harmful practices. African people have a tendency of saying if something is unique, it means it can be used to strengthen some of traditional healings. They associate almost all the times any difference to spiritual practices and spiritual beliefs. So those beliefs based on our different color has exposed us to dangers. But one thing I want to emphasize is that we don't have to confine albinism into harmful attacks and forget about the emotional impact that underpins the existence of a person with albinism. If the psychosocial part of a person is not balanced, that person is unable to perform in everything that is societal based.
So based on what you are saying, how are people living with albinism engaging with the conversation of Black Lives Matter? Because this is one of those issues that cuts across color lines. You have white people with albinism and black people with albinism.
People with albinism on African racial groups are evident and they are visible. One thing that we are engaging in as organizations is to teach communities. Make a number of awarenesses, engage in different trainings in different parts of societies, engaging government and teaching government on how a person with albinism should live, and teaching people with albinism how they should behave and how they should teach. We have observed that awarenesses are impactful and they are powerful to change how people view us and how people with albinism view themselves and how they conduct and engage into societal activities. that is what we are doing, to teach communities and teach people with albinism, and even teach media. Like you are saying right now, media representative will always say people living with albinism. Legally, it's not accepted. It's like a K word. Now, if we are not teaching you as media representative on how to term us, how to call us, these ignorances are escalating and they are moving from generation to generation. Unless otherwise we teach, people will not change their minds and their attitude will not change if there's nobody willing to teach and willing to engage in awareness campaigns.
So in this celebration today, what would you like to say to the South African public about how to interact with people with albinism?
People with albinism need support in every spheres of life. And it's only those who have achieved and those who are passionate about albinism who can teach people with albinism. Maybe from people who have achieved with albinism, I would say, because there is a tendency of saying, I have achieved, and if I have achieved, I'm not disabled. They deny disability on albinism if they have achieved. I would say, ensure that you teach other people about albinism and rather be silent about denying that you are disabled, because you end up closing doors for the young and the coming generation and the vulnerable people who did not get an opportunity to be supported with albinism. On communities, I would say on this day, just give us a chance. And I was looking at this theme, made to shine. We are not made to shine because of our colorism. We are made to shine because whenever we engage ourselves on activities, we mostly excel if we are given a chance. And that should be the driving force to the government, a driving force to communities, that give these people a chance, a fair chance, support them wherever is necessary, and trust them in whatever they are doing. That is the message I would say to the community.
Do we have an idea as to how this community has been affected by COVID-19?
Albinism community is challenged with sanitizers. You know, our skins are sensitive. Most of people with albinism develop blisters on hands because of sanitizer. But the lockdown, the stay in, is what we are encouraging on people with albinism. It's not a new thing to us. It's only that a number of people are joining us in staying indoors and taking care of ourselves. It has been a benefit on persons with albinism to stay indoors, because we get a chance, even before the COVID-19, we get a chance to develop ourselves, a chance to read, a chance to develop the language so that we are able to participate in activities. But other than that, in South Africa, we don't have such things where people with albinism are called coronavirus. It's only the effect of these different sanitizers that are affecting hands.
What you're saying is so important, and I hope that it's taken to heart. But just to end off our conversation, let's talk about some of the success stories in this narrative.
We have observed employment of persons with albinism. We have observed participation of them in schools. We are seeing our government lending an ear on issues of albinism. Like we had a meeting with the Deputy Minister on Thursday talking about issues of albinism, where they are committing themselves in developing the National Action Plan on Albinism for South Africans, on the basis that issues of albinism are treated different in different provinces and different municipalities. So for that reason, after the visit of the independent expert last year, it was discovered that there is a need of having a structure, which I'm leading now, the National Albinism Task Force, that will look into the development of this National Action Plan on Albinism. We are grateful that a number of departments in government will come on board. And more than that, we will invite the private sector to come on board, because at the end of the development of this National Action Plan, we will introduce it to the department, to government, and we will make it a law, we'll make it a policy that will govern all practices on albinism. And that will assist us to avoid people who are commercializing issues of albinism, which has been the case for a number of years and which is growing these days when people are making money out of vulnerability of persons with albinism.
Mshingela, masikubonge for isikhathi sakho today.
Sibonga kakhulu.
Dr. Maxwell Thabethe there.